before it's too late.
But while the future of the woylie and the bandicoot looks good, other species are still critically endangered. Half a continent away on the other side of Australia is another organisation doing its thing to save endangered species. While Professor Don Bradshaw, the University of Western Australia and other government organisations are working to save endangered species in the west of Australia, in South Australia, a private organisation known as Earth Sanctuaries is fighting the same battles: land degradation, indiscriminate clearing of the bushland and feral animals.
This land used to be a living thing. It was full of numbats and bettongs, bilbies and bandicoots, but it's been cleared, it's been overgrazed, and there's none of the perennial grasses, none of the salt bushes left, and it's really pretty heartbreaking.
Greg Martin is project manager for Earth Sanctuaries Limited, a public company with the specific aim of encouraging people to invest in the future by investing in his company, to literally put their money where their hearts are. And Earth Sanctuary's aim is to wage its own private war against extinctions in Australia.
Well, I started at Scotia Sanctuary about 2 years ago as project manager, and that involved building the feral-free fence and setting up the breeding programs. And we had a staff here of 11 young people, and they were the ones that had built all that you've seen.
The philosophy behind Earth Sanctuaries is simple: save Australian native animals at all costs before it's too late. And while Greg takes care of the day-to-day running of the sanctuaries, this is the man who started it all, Dr. John Walmsley. This former professor of mathematics and computer sciences says since he was a boy, he has watched Australia's wildlife disappear. He gave up his academic career many years ago to go back to nature, to try and turn the tide of extinctions. Today, he is probably Australia's greatest wildlife warrior.
Yeah, the story of Australian wildlife is quite incredible because, 500 years ago, Columbus sailed across the Atlantic Ocean, and I guess the age of exploitation began. And since then, in that 500 years, the world has lost 60 species of mammal. Now, 20 of those are Australian in the last 200 years. And this means that Australians have, as a race, white Australians, as a race, have the worst record in the world for wildlife management since life began on Earth. We're the absolute vandals of conservation, if you like. And it's interesting, but because we've sort of didn't see, because our animals are nocturnal or something, because nobody noticed them disappearing, we didn't seem to realise that. We've actually put across the story that we're good at conservation and we're not. In fact, Australia is the worst in the world.
Damning words, but John has a plan to change that. His mission is to convince Australian people to get behind his company.
We buy land, we fence it with feral-proof fencing, we eradicate the feral, we put back the wildlife that used to be there.
To rehabilitate this land and country like it, it's not just a matter of planting a few trees and bushes. We have to bring the small native animals back as well. They evolve together with the plants and bushes, and we need that relationship between the two for the land to be healthy again.